Trying to figure out how I want to start this video. Talk about today's topic. Function before form. Function before form. That's a car thing. A lot of guys brought that up back in the day, especially when it came to racing, when it came to showing. All show, no go. You hear all sorts of different sayings and cliches when it comes to function before form. Well, today we're not talking about car racing or cars. We're talking about the trailer, aka the command center. And we got some of this temporary lighting done, and now we need to discuss AC. Figure out how we're going to get some AC in here. I got some unconventional ideas, and I'm definitely setting it up differently, and I want to explain to you why and how. A lot of you people are not going to be thrilled about what I'm going to tell you and how I'm going to do what I'm going to do, but maybe with my explanation you'll understand it. This trailer is 48 feet long. When I purchased the trailer, it had 3 rooftop AC units, 15,000 BTU each, which pull an incredible amount of power to cool down the whole thing. Now, the units, I fired them up and got this going. And again, remember, I got this trailer on a deal. This is a fixer-upper, so anything that works, anything that's going on in here that is salvageable, that's a plus. That's a plus. There was nothing guaranteed, and whatever. Not even the point. So I turn them all on. They start working. They kind of work a little crappy, which most of these campers and trailers I've managed to get my hands on, and granted, they are older. Those rooftop ACs kind of work a little crappy. I've talked to a good amount of people. I got friends of mine that have trailers and campers and things of that matter, and they all tell me a similar story, which is basically good luck if you can get the thing to cool down more than 10 degrees of whatever the outside temperature is. That's not going to work for me. I live in South Florida. It's hot, global warming. I'm very dramatic. I gotta have cold AC. I gotta have real cold AC, like AC that'll keep me type cold AC. You know what I mean? So that, I'm not gonna get emotional about it. I'm gonna tell you that I ain't gonna accept it. So I started looking into it and researching it, and okay, well, hey, maybe that's not the case. They charge a ton of money for these campers, and you know, you see these people on YouTube and the full-time RVers and all these guys out there, and you don't really hear them complain too much about those overhead AC units unless it's in the middle of the summer and they're in Las Vegas or some craziness like that, and they're cooking. They're really cooking. But aside from that, they seem like they do pretty good. I mean, you would think throughout the years that they would come up with a different animal if that was the case. So I've done a lot of research and considered a lot of different things, and I plan on doing things my way, the gadget way. Not so much what everybody else is doing, not so much what's trending, but exactly my way. So I'm gonna explain a little bit to you of what we're doing and why we're doing it. But before I do that, I did check into these AC units. I got them to work. I had a temperature gun. I checked the temperature inside, checked the temperature on the units, and it was a variance of 10 degrees coming out of the unit versus what was going in. So I thought, well, hey, maybe that's the 10 degrees they're talking about. Well, it turns out that's not the 10 degrees they're talking about. Apparently, when you go to check this airflow, it should be putting out about 20 degrees cooler than what's going on inside your trailer. It wasn't. And I thought to myself, well, maybe it just needs some Freon. Maybe it needs Freon. Well, I did more research, and it turns out these units are designed to screw you, you see. They're self-contained, so they say, and you can't add Freon to them, because if you do, well, that's the straw that broke the camel's back, and one thing will lead to another, and it'll probably create a chain reaction of hitting the next weak link on the system and grenade these units. They're designed to last 4+ years. That's it. And that's pretty lousy for the amount of money they charge for those units, in my opinion. You know, how are you going to charge somebody north of $1,000 on a unit that's supposedly only going to last 4 years? Which, mind you, there's a lot of taboo going on with how long you can run those for. Can you cycle them and run them 24/7 like a house unit? Excuse me. I don't think so. I don't think so. The little bit I did read about that spoke about how they're designed differently and how they cool differently. So I'm not thrilled about any of that. Not to mention, you couldn't add Freon to these units, like I said before, because they were self-contained. So there is no fitting, there is no regulation type setup on those things. Nothing like a house AC or even a car AC for that matter to add Freon. Which, again, they're kind of designed to screw you. You would think that after all these years that they put this thing out, they'd figure out how to make it serviceable so that you could do that. No. They don't want that going on. They don't want that going on. And most AC techs, they don't even want to touch them. They don't want to touch them because at this point, they are different and they're running a lot higher pressures. And they don't know what's what. They don't know what's up. Most of these ATs, they don't know. They're not serviceable units. They don't care. They're not really taught how to work on them. They know the fundamentals of ACs, but the last thing I want to do is pay somebody to work on these. I'm not an AC tech. I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it because at the end of the day, these things are over 20 years old. They need to be replaced anyway. I don't want to start cranking on these things and the next thing you know, I have a problem. I plan on running these ACs like 7 days a week because where the trailer's located, I'm using it. And I'm going to continue to use it 7 days a week. Needs to run. Needs to work. Well, we'll go out and buy... Nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing it. We're not going out and buying brand new overhead ACs where the next thing you know, 3 of those things, I'm north of $5,000. And hopefully everything goes the way it's supposed to. No. So I have an alternative. So I'm going to explain that to you. May have something to do with what you see behind me. Window shakers. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that because I know there's a lot of people that hate that. There's a lot of people that don't want to hear about that idea. They think it's a bad idea. I'm going to demonstrate otherwise to you.